Hi, this is Franz Cantor, cartoonist, illustrator, and toon talker, and I'm here with...
Jim Bridges, and I'm the president of the Australian Cartoon Museum.
Please excuse the squeaking of my shoes. I get very excited when I see a really good book that's going to excite me.
It goes down to your shoes, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does indeed. We're doing fantasy cartooning. Ben Caldwell's second book on drawing. Fantasy Cartooning is published by Sterling Books. This is a companion to Action Cartooning, which we reviewed. Check out the other video if you want to have a look at this. You should get this in your library.
Yes. Whether you have any plans of doing animation or anything like that, just for drawing, it's just terrific.
Yeah. So as is with Action Cartoon, they also work as a standalone. Ben Caldwell's a brilliant comic artist, and his designs are really beautifully done. So we start out this is a book for enthusiasts of comics, enthusiasts of mythology, I guess, or fantasy, and also people who love to draw. So it's based on sound drawing principles. Okay, so here we go. We're getting a basic idea of what's involved in drawing fantasy. So obviously with fantasy it's a genre, right? So you need to explore different things within the genre to understand, where the storytelling possibilities of your visuals will lead. So you're creating a living world. Creating objects, not just plain objects, but objects with personality. So create objects with personality, amp them up. So when you do a drawing of a sword, amp it up. Make it a really special sword, like it's your own particular thing. Places with personality. Don't just draw a tree and a well. Draw a really, really interesting tree and a really interesting well.
Because one of the lower limbs is actually feeding off the well.
Yeah.
And the roots go under the well and around the well, so there's life going on even if it's not moving.
Yeah. So oftentimes they use humanized animals. So you're taking a cat and you're giving it human attributes, which is very clever to do. Humanized objects, again, like tree beard or something. So that's very interesting to think about. It's a living world. This is very well thought out book. So here's a chapter called Heroes and Villains, and as with the other book in Action Cartooning, it starts with very sound drawing principles and how you start to think of action and gesture with simple stick figures, but they're not just stick figures. The breaks in the stick figures are very thoughtfully put in. There's a mass there, which is the thorax. There's a round mass, which is the head. The head is particularly constructed. There's, things. The arms don't come out from the middle of the stick. It comes out from the shoulders. So you need this line here. The hips, you need a line across, so the legs can start on either side of the body rather than from the spine, and that gives you the basic ability to construct a very dynamic pose. So if you look at that, you compare it to this, the volume of this drawing here obeys the original gesture of the stick figure. Stick
figures are very important, people.
Yeah.
They're very important people. Now,
so heroic ideals, which is the premise of this.
Because you do a lot of drawing, when you come to the beginning, do you think this way or this way first? Do you cut to that?
You have to start with the building blocks.
But mentally, do you actually have stick figures in your head before you sit down to the actual pencil?
You can, yeah.
But is that important?
You need to be able to see the stick figure from the model.
Okay.
So if you're looking at a model, you need to be able to... You see, in drawing, you have to synthesize everything down to very basic shapes in order to start the drawing.
Yes.
And in order to get the right energy and the right gesture. So you've got to start with very, very basic shapes. Otherwise, you'll never get anything as sophisticated as this. So this is exaggerating, using all the power of your cartoon ability and your caricature ability to do a beautiful
complex picture, isn't it?
Yeah. So there's a lot of action in there, and you compare the action.
There's 3D, and also there's the caricaturing, the balance.
Yep, balance.
The
Yep, the contrapposta. the difference between the angles of the shoulder blades to the hips. So if you compare the action of that, it's implied here. This is the starting point, this is the end point.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of little tips that he'll give you in drawing, with straights and curves, to be able to get a difference between, this symmetry of form. When you're drawing, it's all about rhythm. So you have alternate rhythms in drawing the figure.
Talks about
not symmetrical rhythms.
making them three-dimensional is to have overlapping lines.
Yeah, overlapping lines.
That helps you.
Yeah.
Give you
where you're breaking the contour of the arm, and also there's an indication because he works in pen a lot of times.
and it's beautiful how he's
There's
done
a
this.
thick and
Just
thin.
circles. They're the important bits he's talking about.
Yeah, so very important to read this. These charts are put together with
Beautifully
a lot
put together.
of
Beautifully put together, as you said.
a lot of care. The charts are put together with a lot of
If
care.
you couldn't understand English at all, you'd probably get this.
You would. So, again, the construction of a face, the heroic face, start with simple geometry. So you can't see this very well, but there's a sphere there. So similarly with the drawing technique of Loomis, with the what's it called, the drawing for fun, drawing with a pencil,
Fun with a pencil. And this is
start
the
with a sphere, which is the cranium, and then you build the geometry of the face, the jaw, etc., on top of that. The horizontal line in the center of the sphere is the representative of the brow, not the eyes, but the brow. Then the eyes underneath that. The mouth, the bottom lip actually represents the line between the... actually, you should put the nose in. So halfway between the nose and the chin should be the bottom lip.
This is interesting too.
But again, proportions are meant to be changed. So on the fly, you can use your power, your secret power of caricature to exaggerate
Your secret power, I like that.
Yes.
The secret power of caricature.
Your secret power
Write
of
that
caricature.
down somewhere, everybody, and put it near your drawing desk.
So the heroine, again, beautifully constructed from a very articulate and informative stick figure. You can see all of in this gesture drawing of a stick figure, it's very, very cleverly constructed.
There's a lot going on here.
Yeah. It's very informative. This is not a straight stick figure.
No.
This informs this final picture here.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of getting the stick figure right, practice those stick figures, get them into volume, right? Continue the use of your gesture so that the action is clearly described, then just build the details.
Next time someone says, I can't even draw stick figures, you tell them everybody can draw stick figures.
So he's going through the whole dictionary of characters. You've got heroes, heroines, and now peasants. Again, starting with, there's a very interesting way of thinking about the shoulders as little balls. You can see the construction of the head here. The stick figure now translates into very sound drawing for the figure itself. So using comic proportions, caricatured proportions, to great effect here. He's got these big feet here. He's got big hands. Everything else is thin-waisted, a wide chest here, but not just heroic. He's very dynamic.
Yeah, even though he's flat-chested.
And while he's doing that, he's a consummate storyteller. He's thinking about all these little details which you can add to the characters, like little hats like Robin Hood, or turbans, or satchels, and little bags of money, and mustaches, and what are these
Cowls,
jackets and scissors, all of these things, little things that the character, if he's a tailor, he would be carrying scissors. A lot of little details which add so much more personality and imply story to your character when you design them. So these are peasant variations of different character types. Here is a lady, and here is a little girl, little Red Riding Hood on her way to grandma. Then he's got the woodcutter or something, or in this case he's a boxer.
Yeah, looks a bit like Gigantor.
Yeah, so you start with very simple geometric shapes, right? But the geometric shapes are informed. So underneath that is a stick figure. The stick figure carries the gesture. You've drawn the gesture first, the shape, the action of the figure, and now you flesh it out with very simple shapes, and from those simple shapes you lead to a more sophisticated piece. So exactly the process of how I would do a caricature.
That's a beautiful drawing
with a
by itself.
very light,
Solid.
very simple drawing. Capture the action, the action, then the volume, then the details. And have a lot of fun, folks, in researching, details to give your designs more
Make up your own, but
more story.
It'll be more believable if it's got some sort of foothold in the past.
Yeah, always look to the past. Always research a lot, and have fun. It's part of drawing is part entertainment. So always remember that it's not a chore. It's fun. If it's not fun, you're doing something wrong. Here we go with the same idea. Stick figure, warlords. Look at this beautiful pose, like a upside down Y.
He's getting carried away here, isn't he?
Yeah.
Look, even the way
he's letting go.
Yeah.
This is what you should do. He's inviting you as a player, as another artist. Pick up your pencil. Have a go. Have
Feel
some fun.
like letting go.
Yeah. So Amazon's another action pose here. Stick figure to volume, making it volume, and then adding the detail. And of course, the detail comes from beautiful research. Here's a picture of the Gorgon. Medusa.
Sticking her tongue out.
Again, barbarians.
This is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
And almost put the hand on the ground along with the feet is almost feral, like animalistic and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's progressing. He's
But it all comes from strong gestures. So
yeah.
The action is paramount.
He's
That's
reading the
most
ground
important thing.
or just going forward at the same time.
Yeah. So a variety of action, and even the figure standing in repose has action implied by the use of strong angles and curves.
And concentrating on the thumb like he's ready.
But check the details here.
Yeah.
The tattoos and the scars and the little tiny the rings, the little tiny insignificant details. You might think it's insignificant, but together they give you this beautiful story. The character has an incredible layer of implied story. Yeah. The idea of strong lines is to be able to create readability in the figure, so that you can essentially, they use it in animation they study silhouettes in order to increase the readability of a character.
Yeah. Yes. The quicker you can.
Yep. So simple construction.
The quicker you can see the detail in a character.
Research, detail it up.
Yeah, the more that adds to the story, and it can move on quickly.
Exactly, yeah. The Magi, which is a magician. So
and the fingers are pretty important with the magician.
Thoughts on lines for personality. If you want like a friendly character, it's very soft, and the lines are very gentle curves. A harder character, they're very angular.
Yeah.
So this is seemingly a simple approach.
Same person, it's just that life does that to you.
So it's a simple approach,
this is great
but
too.
well worth exploring.
Yeah. More.
Yep. Sorcerers' apprentices, male and female. So it's a very, very informative sketch based on, you can see underneath the stick figure. You can see underneath the stick figure, and then he's put volume and then detail. So similar.
She does her
with,
homework. She does her homework. He doesn't.
Yeah. Well, these are little added things, that you put in to increase the story of the figure.
Keys are always interesting devices you can actually turn into political statements and all sorts of stuff in cartooning. I've noticed.
Yeah.
He's good, isn't he?
So druids and witches.
He's really good.
He's exploring the dictionary of fantasy.
Yeah.
Fantasy drawing. And the basics of drawing itself.
Is that one line again?
Yeah. So all things start with very simple.
Isn't that a great way
very
of showing all that information?
Yeah.
And of course,
Hands have personality.
He is not scared of hands.
No.
Get stuck into it that way, and you won't be scared because everybody's scared. They put off drawing hands.
Yeah.
I remember all the art students in my day used to
Yeah.
copy Da Vinci's hands.
So here's another example of a stature, gesture, and see how this figure is like a very simple walk pose of this girl, but the proportions are changed. It's more like a
fashion model.
a mannequin perhaps. But you know, there's a lot of thought gone into these lines. These are gestures. So the stick figure is creating a gesture, a pose that describes the action perfectly.
She has
and
to
then you
keep herself poised.
You add the volume.
Yeah, she has to keep herself poised because she's a lady.
Yeah. So then we're talking about princesses, all of the little details, all of the little bits and pieces.
Eyes with light lids look
he
younger,
experiments with,
and more
and,
energetic eyes with heavier lids and lashes look more adult and sophisticated.
Yeah. So this is this is Ben explaining his thoughts on creating a princess. A princess is a very popular, and how to get that svelte look, that sort of the grace and the interest in, you know, with the little details, so that they're not all cookie cut persons there. Each one has a personality and a backstory,
Including her clothes.
yeah
With these little...
yeah everything is thought out.
Yeah.
Everything.
The
So
fair
we go
folk.
to fair folk, which are fairies. Okay, so here you have the Cid. His idea.
What's a Cid?
They come from Cid or Sith or Tuatha De Danann, were an ancient, elegant race ruled by the Sylvan fairy kingdoms. So these are like names of.
Okay.
I would say, you know, Tolkien-esque style elves and fairies. Okay, so they're beautiful, beautiful designs. A lot of thought out. You know, look at the wrappings on this. I mean, as clothes, and she's barefoot, so she's not like a princess. She's almost like a
She's
nature spirit.
She's connected
She's a
to the.
water
Yeah, she's
fairy.
connected to the ground.
Yeah, so, you know, and because they're fairies, they don't have to obey human proportions. So
Yeah.
he's used beautiful cartoons to explain them and give them this
And they
beautiful
have their own.
elegance.
They have their own
Yeah.
skin colouring.
Mottled
the
skin.
mottled skin.
Yeah,
Like
Fronts.
nature. Like nature.
yeah. So these are
Ooh.
different characters, elves, and, you know, don't know what that is. Human with a mountain top of burning magical flowers.
Could be chips.
Goodness.
Could be chips.
Fawns.
Hot chips.
Yeah, a lot of studies of goats in order to inform the
But
character.
that's great.
of the
That's a
form.
great drawing. It's got all
Yeah.
these lines in it.
So he's not just making it up, he's studying goats. This he's not just making it up, he's studying pigs in order to get some kind of informative sketch. Yeah, these are beautiful. It's lovely. Very simple shapes. Very simple shapes. Start with simple shapes and then explore. Have fun. Have fun with a pencil. Again, these are brutes. These are sort of like orcs or something, or goblins.
Line again.
Yeah, it's always good with gesture. The stronger line is the most pronounced, is the most dramatic. So you try to keep those the drama from the original sketch. the
And he
original
uses
text.
hands all the time to show the
Gesture.
power or the creepiness or
Yeah.
whatever.
But the hands again are not scary. They're constructed from very simple shapes.
Yeah.
In this case, blocks. So he's just added the detail in.
But I mean, like for
No
instance,
stone unturned,
he's-
by the way. Look at this. This is Celtic knotwork.
Yeah.
So he's doing drawing, sketching, and studying all the time to inform his
But I mean,
characters.
you know, the handle
yeah,
is
the
character.
haft.
It's
Of the
caricatured.
matic.
Yeah, but it's most of those things are straight, but he's curved it. And see here,
Exaggerated the curve.
see this little bit here,
Yeah.
because you'd expect that to go out like that, but he goes down into this little bit here.
Yeah, these are just ideas that
Yeah.
he comes up with on the fly.
Yeah, and
But
it gives it. It gives us the fantasy.
Individuality.
It gives us the fantasy. It gives it the believability that
Yeah.
it's a fantasy is real.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, because nothing is
Ooh.
nothing. He tries to steer away from tropes, from corny ways of doing
Yeah.
a fairy or a goblin or an orc or a troll, or an ogre. These are different. These are his version of trolls. These are his version of ogres.
Oh, yeah, but he started at the top. He didn't
Yeah.
start at the bottom. He started pinching from Kirby.
Yeah. Well, studying Kirby. Yeah. So he was
Powerful,
thinking
powerful.
about how to design an animal.
Duh.
How do you draw
Duh.
a cartoon crocodile or a cartoon cat or a cartoon rhinoceros? You start with simple geometric shapes. There's no other substitute. There's no other way of drawing it. Whether you're drawing a dog or whether you're drawing a wolf or a puppy, simple shapes. Start with the simple shapes, and that will give you the ability to detail with a beautiful personality and level of realism, or informed realism. So you're making changes, obviously, on the fly. You're giving them human characteristics or other chimera-like qualities.
Yeah. Only the toes touch the ground. That helps the movement. That helps the story. That's telling you he's walking and creeping and see how the hands go like this. That's beautiful. It's sort of just that few lines adds a lot of what.
Well, you're thinking
that
about
character
the
is.
drawing. You're thinking about the drawing.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, an animator will get up out of his chair and assume the pose of the character that he's drawing in order to inform his drawing.
Yeah.
So you're giving your brain food to be able to solve this problem. How do you make the character look like it's on all fours walking? The crouching cat, start with simple shapes again. Right?
That could be
The
luminous.
rearing lion, start with a gesture,
Yeah.
the stick figure underneath, okay?
Use
The
that
simple
line again.
shapes, drawing the masses, then the details. Study lions, study the arms, the paws of lions, the legs.
The running werewolf.
Yep, canines.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful design of a dog or a wolf. Yep, that's a wolf. Wolves and werewolves. Yeah. Horses.
For courses. Drawing courses.
Yeah. So again, start with very simple shapes. That will give you the ability to create strikingly beautiful characters of horses.
That's beautiful.
It is.
That's absolutely beautiful.
Yep.
I suggest you go out and photostat that and stick it on the
On
wall
your wall.
next to your drawing board.
Yeah. Or draw it yourself. Draw these shapes in and then add your own details. Yeah. Yeah. Simple shapes. Look at this, made up of balls and boxes and lines.
That's really interesting because a horse is probably one of the most hardest things to draw, I would think, because it's so beautiful.
Yeah, but
and
you
it's
need to
got
study
this ability to do so many
galloping
things.
horses. You need to study
only one
what
foot on
legs
the
are up,
ground,
etc.
or
Yeah, how many feet are touching the ground in the run? You know how
except
horses
if it's
leap,
jumping.
jumping and leaping, and horses sitting on the ground, combining horses with humans to create a centaur.
Is a good look.
What's
at
the centaur of gravity? Dragons, your own take on dragons. Here we go. More
Yes.
like a
Get away from the Chinese idea of a dragon. You know.
yeah.
They're
Well,
just-
explore the Chinese idea of a dragon.
yeah, but
you
then
know,
get
there are
away.
other-
Then get away from it. You
Yeah,
know?
so they're bird-like or lizard-like, or are they anglerfish-like, or are they some other animal? You know, a turkey or something. So because dragons are perfect chimeras. They're made up animals.
Yeah.
So they have bat wings and lizard bodies and human hands and horse heads and etc. etc. Yeah. Everything starts with a very simple shape.
Beautiful.
The gesture is the most important thing, and then you construct the figure out. You mass the figure out with simple shapes, and then you add the details. So start light, work dark. Start light, get heavier when you're sure of. Where
Surely
you're
they
going
would
with the
have
pencil.
dragons with laser breath as opposed to fire breath.
Yeah.
You know.
There you have it. So,
Afterward.
The
No
afterward.
dogs
No dogs or mecha allowed. I think that was
Got a
there's
tattoo
another
there.
book coming.
Index. Any last pictures? Yes.
So-
Need more cartooning? Of course you do.
Yep. So there's a his web address You can actioncartoony.com. You can go there and get more tips and have a look at what else he's been up to. He's heavily involved in comics, obviously, and does a lot of drawing. And this guy's a...
So, you ready to draw? I was born ready.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, why I like this is because it's a direct approach to drawing and excites you. If I was an 8-year-old kid again and I picked up this book, this would be, to me, this would be the most important book in my collection. If you're a seasoned cartoonist or an illustrator, certainly pick up this book because this vindicates, how you approach your drawing techniques.
It's got the basics, but it's also got the fact that you can be totally individual and do your own thing.
Yeah,
that's what I like.
Very exciting. Okay, this is
Jim Bridges. I'd give it 4 out of...
Well, 3 A's.
3 A's. 3 A's. Okay, give it 3 A's. Okay, folks, this is Jim Bridges.
And Franz Cantor.
And we'll see you again and bring back more books from the ACM library.